So here's a video for introducing the solar system we just built last week, which contains three main parts: the solar panel that are connected on the roof, and all the power the panels are generated are being transmitted through the cables that are labeled as the PV input here. A battery bank with 48 volt DC and 100 amp hour. It acts as the storage unit for the system. And last but not least, the core of the system, our 3.6 kilowatts hybrid inverter. With this, you are able to convert DC power generated by the solar panel into AC power to meet the energy consumption of your appliances in the house, which are mostly running on AC power. And any leftover that we did not consume right away, this hybrid inverter helps regulate those energy back into the battery bank and release them during rush hour for power usage. Say, for example, if you're running air conditioner, dryer, and dishwasher simultaneously. So really, the question to ask is, what can this inverter do for a typical household other than what I just described? And I think there are two major advantages in having the solar system in your house. First, it provides uninterrupted power during power shortage. The essential loads here is able to produce uninterrupted power whether the home grid is on or off. So that means any appliances that are connected through this outlet won't be affected by the power shortage, and you won't lose important files that you were just working on. And the food in the freezer can still stay fresh. And you could probably even still watch Netflix while your neighbors are trying to find flashlight in the garage. And that is if your Wi-Fi routers are connected to essential loads as well. And second, I think it's very economical for the electrical bill. Tons of areas across the globe, including China, the grid charges the energy that we are using at a different price across the day. And usually it's more expensive during daytime and cheaper during the evening. So our hybrid inverter allows us to set 4 periods of charging and discharging of the battery bank. What that means is that we can extract more power from the grid when the price is low and release them to feed our home load when the price is high. This particular function can help us to reduce our electric bill tremendously. So by now you're probably wondering, why hybrid, right? What's the difference between this inverter and grid tie or off-grid inverter? As a matter of fact, they have a lot in common. The inverter outputs power through both the essential loads and AC input terminals, which are labeled here and here, right? And the AC input terminal makes this machine a grid tie inverter because it absorbs the power from the solar and transmits them into the home grid to reduce the overall electric bill. And the essential loads here, it makes this machine an off-grid inverter because it can solely rely on battery bank and the solar panel on the roof and output those power even when the grid is no longer available. But with this machine, you can do both, and hence the name, hybrid. If you're still interested in the knit and grid for all the wiring and installment, it is very important to draft a plan or a layout for the place you have available to set up the system, so that everything fits perfectly. Place those circuit breakers here and here, and the battery bank with proper clearances and a good orientation to one another. So when it comes to running wires for everything, you need to understand where all the power sources are coming from. So it is ideal to place the inverter closer to the main panels. As you can see, we use this cable here and connect the grid from here. So you really need to know where all your power sources are and place the inverter and the system as close as possible to have a shorter wiring. And it is for the PV input, as you can see, we got some 1-inch conduits on the ceiling, and down it goes here, and down it goes the same hole we drilled for the air conditioner and up to the roof where the cables are finally joined with the solar panel. We use four of the 320 watts panels to get roughly around 1,300 watts on a sunny day. And keep in mind, it is crucial to keep the dirt and any obscures away from the panel and make sure the full exposure of the direct sunlight in order to extract the most power you could. So what that means in terms of money, right? Let's say we receive a nice and good 8 hours of daylight, and while converting from DC into AC, there are typical 20% loss. So 1.3 kilowatts times 80% is 1 kilowatts, roughly, give or take. And 8 hours of daily sunlight times that, it's 8 kilowatts hours. According to research, daily consumption of a typical US residential utility is around 30 kilowatt hours. So that is a 30% discount right off the bat, or more if you consider storing power when the price is low and use them when the price is high. So cutting off a big chunk of the electric bill and have uninterrupted power and harnessing the renewable energy all at the same time by solely having this system in the house sounds like a pretty good deal to me, right?